efficiency. It is our honor to welcome our moderator, Mr. Sumedh Agarwal, Director, Smart and Resilient Power and Mobility at AEEE. So please come here.
Thank you, Arzu. Thanks a lot. And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session. So let me take an opportunity to at least do some expectation settings of what exactly is this session about. Many are students, many are energy efficiency aficionados. So at least it will be helpful to understand what are we going to talk about. So what is energy efficiency? Energy efficiency is basically having the same level of output or service by using less energy or reducing waste. Now, if I go back 25 years, at that time, our country was still gearing up with developing capacities. And government came up with Energy Conservation Act that focused upon industries, commercial establishments, buildings, not to waste power. The Act also assigned a state designated agency to ensure its compliance. If I fast forward 25 years, the landscape of engagement has changed. The 2022 amendment that has come effectively have promoted these SDAs from being administrators to the regulators of carbon markets, of green hydrogen and sustainable buildings. So what exactly in the morning session we were speaking about the markets, we were speaking about compliance era. So that has now converted into energy transition era. So the narrative requires three things now. One is focused mission, second is specialized expertise, and the third is clear accountability. So it requires definitely transformation of these state designated agencies. Now the question today is that do these subnational agencies which were created under the Act have the muscle to carry the new weight? And what does it actually takes to empower states to deliver energy efficiency at scale year after year in every sector? So these are the vexing questions which I'm so happy that we have that panel who will be discussing about it. And in fact, what I have seen is I'm so happy to have this panel because they come with decade of expertise in this particular area and also are the architects of change to our industry. So for the benefit of audience, it's a great pleasure for me to have Dr. Abhishek Sharma, who is Director at Bureau of Energy Efficiency, to join us. He leads National Energy Efficiency Policy at India level and also work closely with states on standards, market transformation, and institutional frameworks. Sir, can you please join us on the stage? We are also pleased to have Ms. Neha Dhingra, Director at CLASP, who leads appliance efficiency and market transformation efforts with close engagement at national and subnational level. Welcome, Neha. We also have Dr. Hari Kumar, Director of Energy Management Center, Kerala, heading one of India's most mature state-level energy efficiency institution with extensive experience in program design and implementation. And finally, joining us is Mr. Ashish Jindal, Senior Coordinator for India at Sustainable Energy for All, who works at the intersection of policy reforms and come with deep expertise at global level. So thank you everyone for joining in, and a huge round of applause for the panel, please. So I'll just take the seat now. So first of all, welcome to this particular session. Not every day we have such a high caliber panel who is not observing the shift in our landscape, but also actually living it. So thank you so much for joining in. The way I have planned this session is that I want to run with certain introductory questions or we would like to have some common remarks from all of you. And then we will discuss about the three levers which I feel are very important to empower the state national actors. One is institutional capacity, second is financing, and third is leadership. So I will just start with couple of questions, and this question is particularly for Abhishek ji and Harikumar ji. Sir, from your perspective, what is the single most important impediment that is limiting effective state level delivery of energy efficiency?
So thank you, Sumit. And just I want to give some background of SDAs and the whole context. SDAs are created under Energy Conservation Act. We have two-tier structure with BE at the center and state designated agency at the state and UT level. And these states and UTs, only we have two states that are standalone SDAs right now. Fortunately, we have Kerala with us today, and another one is Andhra Pradesh. And rest of the states, 16 of them are basically doing the work of Renewable Energy Agency also. Another 8 are doing the work of Power Department. It comes directly under the Power Department. And 6 are basically the Electrical Inspectorate. They are also doing the work of Electrical Inspectorate. And 4 are our DISCOMs. So this is the wide variety of structure we have in our states. And this is also the most important difficulty and the challenge we have right now. Because they are already have so many tasks in the states and union territory, it is very difficult to focus for them on energy efficiency, except for these standalone SDAs. Time to time, BE and Ministry of Power has directed them to create standalone SDAs, but the response is not so good. That it's not so encouraging. Some are in the process of doing it, but there are so many challenges. They have to create a whole organizational setup and all those. And at least what we expect, they should have some dedicated cell for energy efficiency in whatever department they are doing, so that there is a dedicated staff working under there, and they are totally relying on these energy efficiency aspects. So now what is happening? They are more focused on renewable energy aspects and the work of Electrical Inspectorate, DISCOMs. Mostly in the summer months, they are quite engaged in these DISCOM related activities. So I think they need to be standalone. If not, they should have a dedicated cell in their departments to work properly and freely. Thank you.
Oh, that is great. That's a good response. And I think this pivots me to the state SDA. Dr. Harikumar ji is here. So, sir, we just heard from Abhishek ji. Now, Kerala has done a lot, but as I know you since very long time, you do want to do a lot more. So I'm just trying to understand, and I'm just pivoting this question, that what is still an impediment to do large scale reforms? What exactly from the state you feel is still an impediment that is not able to make you move to a large scale reform? If you can just throw some light on that.
See, Energy Management Center Kerala EMC is established in 1996, about 5 years back when the EC Act was passed in the Parliament. Therefore, the government, whether it is from any political party, they are very much supportive of energy efficiency as well as renewable energy aspects, particularly in a state where you have 100% literacy and human development index as par with the Scandinavian nations. Therefore, when you ask the impediment, being a standalone SDA, when we are getting good support from Bureau of Energy Efficiency, thanks to Abhishek ji for looking after the SDA activities, when we are getting good support from the government, and as he was mentioning, we have only one job, promoting energy efficiency. Naturally, we will be, because of our passion and because of our the characteristic of the institution. When I say the characteristic of the institution, we do not have a single person who have come on deputation. All the permanent staff, we have full 25, around 30 people in the permanent cadre, and they're all about 50-60% of them are professional engineers, and we have a good institutional memory. It should not become obsolete. Also, we are giving capacity building for our engineers. So what I meant to say is that, so we have the passion and we want to do more and more. So when we want to do more and more, to a certain extent, I would say financial is the one of the major impediment. Though we are not relying alone on the financial grant we are getting from the central and state, we are generating revenue out of some of the inspections, some DPRs preparation and things like that. Still, and financial autonomy is also there with us. So, but still, if we get more funding support, we will be able to do much more than, because we know that much more is required. And one more thing, we are trying to, as in the morning also, we have seen many speakers are mentioning energy efficiency in addition to saying it is saving some cost saving. It has other attributes also. Particularly Kerala as a state which is facing disaster every year, and climate disasters. So in climate resilient infrastructure creation, and even when we talk about battery storage, when we are talking about battery storage as a climate resilient infrastructure. So there are more things we can plan if we get good support, and some research part also, I think, because when morning some here energy efficiency is talked as a deferred generation, we can call. But how far we are able to sensitize the utility in terms of that. So there is some research gap is also there. These are the two main things that I feel.
Thank you, Dr. Hari. So I am hearing two things. One is multiple responsibilities, short-term casualties, basically deflect person to do multiple other works because of the construct. And at the same time, the SDA, which is as a single SDA, having a focus mission with the careers dedicated towards energy efficiency, have been able to move the needle. So I will just try to understand from another perspective from Neha and Ashish. Neha, to you first, that what is one realistic lever that should be activated in next 2-3 years to overcome this kind of a situation? If you can just share some insights.
Sure. So I'll start with where Abhishek sir kind of left off, which is the major impediment. The point being that 98% of the SDAs are not autonomous. Only 2 we have which are dedicated towards energy efficiency. One we have, and the other one is Andhra Pradesh. So I think the first step should and could be towards enabling and institutionalizing autonomy of these SDAs. That would ensure that there is dedicated staff, there are dedicated resources, there is dedicated manpower to be able to help implement some of those changes. So that's one. Now, if I were to kind of talk about thematic areas, then I think bulk procurement and transforming the markets through that is a key lever that some of the states have done pretty well, and others can kind of follow the suit. It's a very low-hanging fruit and can result in huge market transformation. And I'll give some examples here. So Kerala has, started doing that in 2016. It's been over a decade. But smaller states like Delhi and Chandigarh have also come up with notifications which mandate procurement of 5-star appliances. So that is a key lever which is kind of promoting adoption of high efficiency products. The second is Odisha, which comes to my mind, which has come up with a large scheme for procurement and replacement of high efficiency air conditioners and fans. So there are measures like this which require support and coordination across different levels in the government, both at the bureaucratic level as well as at the implementation level, and interagency coordination, which is only possible if there is a will, if there is leadership at the state, and the most important thing being the institutional structure of the SDAs. And that's why we always see Kerala in some of these sessions that we organize, and Mr. Hari Kumar and his leadership and several innovative financing examples being shared by Kerala, while not so much from other states, even though some of the other states have done great strides when we talk about utilization of state energy conservation funds. So that includes, again, Kerala, Odisha, Sikkim, and so on and so forth. So I think the first and the foremost would be enabling autonomous SDAs, and then kind of building the capacity of that to be able to implement some of these changes. And one of the key levers, I feel, is bulk procurement and market transformation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Neha. Ashish, any reflections from your end, if you feel like what could be that big bet for next 2-3 years that will activate things and we can overcome the sluggishness, I should say, at the subnational level?
Sure. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I think this is a great conversation which is going on. So we could reflect upon our last 1 year work, which AEEE and we were doing. So I think for me, I could bring some international example. I could also say what I really would like to say, basically based on the points which have been raised. Financial autonomy is one. I think absolutely the more money institution has, it can create good resources, good capacity, and ultimately we'll see things working on the ground. I think we have example like EMC, we already discussed. But second thing I am thinking is the fragmented responsibility is the key challenge, which if we able to unlock, I think that is going to really helpful. I'll tell how, basically. So right now what is happening is if someone need to replace or maybe retrofit, let's say chiller. So let's say a PWD do a procurement, finance department will release the money, and energy department will see the savings. So there are 3 institutions involved, and ultimately what is happening is there is no one who has let's say a single source of interest to make it happen. For example, as normally we used to see in corporates, in the balance sheet, we used to see, let's say, there is a revenue in terms of energy efficiency that could account. But how when 3 actors are playing and there is no, you can say, single, you can say, interest from one institution that could really make things happen. I know when I was at ESL, there is an institution like Super ESCO. Across world, we have, let's say, Itihad, we have Tarshid. So these Super ESCO are ultimately, for example, I would like to share an example of Tarshid, where they had a royal decree of doing the implementation by 2030 of, let's say, 20,000 buildings, right? Now, there is a clear mandate, and now they are working with the subnational level, with the states, to make it really happen, right? So there are about, I think, 40 to 43 ESCOs, about 14, you can say, international ESCOs, and about 33 national ESCOs who are really making things happen on the ground. Similarly, I would like to bring an example of US space program. So this space program is a property assessed clean energy program. What it has done is a very simple attribute. So for example, if you have a building, right, and you want to do a retrofit, municipality allow you to basically pay the energy retrofit through your property taxes. So what it really helps is basically the loan is not on the balance sheet, but the loan is on the property. So ultimately, if you shift the property, that will remain as a part of the property tax, and it continue happening. And I think there are about thousands of retrofit has happened like this. So broadly, if I summarize this, I think leading from these examples and making a responsibility and financial autonomy at the state level, like EMC is happening, maybe a phase 2 is required, where a lot of money, revenue streams, and working very closely with, let's say, maybe getting, you can say, those KRAs, those, you can say, energy efficiency reward, as like, I think already B is doing like through NECA, but how at state level, for example, Hariji, you are basically doing this IEFK program. This is some of the very brilliant example that other states should learn. And we'll start building upon these learnings so that we could scale up the energy efficiency implementation. Thanks.
Thanks, Ashish. I think 2 points you raised very valid. One is like multi-layered structure generally creates friction. So if we can avoid that friction, make it frictionless, is something helpful. And second thing is recognition and visibility. Once you start doing that, people start having a competitive federalism kind of a structure where people say that, yes, these people are able to do it. Let's also try to achieve that or aspire for that. So maybe it's good now that we have set the stage. We get into the 3 levers which we spoke about, starting with financing first, and then traverse to different tracks of leadership and institutional capacity. So maybe I will ask first question with Abhishek ji. Abhishek ji, this enforcement rules which have come in 2025, they have proposed a landmark shift with 90% of penalties collected from designated consumers will be transferred to state consolidated fund. So this is more of a financing question which I am trying to understand and unlock. So is this actually designed as a silver bullet for SDA financial autonomy? If you can share your views.
So we have 2 aspects in our head. One is that we provides the funds to SDA every year to do energy efficiency activities in their states. But on one hand, we have unspent funds available with many of the states, and at the other hand, we have states like Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and there are some also who demands more and more funds from BEE. So it's not only about the funding and all those aspects, it's about the motivation to do the work. As rightly pointed by Hari Kumar ji, their state top-down approaches like that, they promote energy efficiency. So we need some, apart from this financial autonomy, we need some motivation factors. I want to point out that one of the tasks taken by BEE in collaboration with AEEE is the development of a state energy efficiency index. I want to compliment AEEE for that index, through which we provide a motivational boost to our SDAs. And what I'm getting after 3-4 series, we are in 4th or 5th series right now. Whenever some states gets the award, the other aspires. Now people are asking, "Mera number kab aayega?" So this is the motivation we need from them, and they are doing it. I am receiving the calls from some SDAs who want to do good in this year's 2026 ranking. Right in the beginning of the year, I am getting some good calls from the SDAs. It's because from the last few years and from the ministry side also, this award has been recognized, and for the last 3 years, Vice President and President, Honorable Vice President and President are providing this award during the NECA function, and it provides a opportunity to showcase their activities. So financing is a one term, and another aspects we can look into the motivation. And let's coming to your part that we have already done with the energy the compliance regulations, but we are framing right now the draft compliance rules. And one of the point is that to provide the financial autonomy to the states, what we are proposing that there should be a central energy conservation funds that matches the spirits of Energy Conservation Act, so that the proceeds of any non-compliance from the designated consumer, from the manufacturers in case of standard and labeling, and building owners in case of the building section, these proceeds will go to the Central Energy Conservation Fund, and from there 90% will be utilized by the states depending upon the geographical location of that entity, where it is located, and 10% proceeds will go to the central level. and we expect states to use these proceeds, whatever they will be getting from these non-compliant charges, to invest in the energy efficiency activities, and hopefully the things will be more easier, because since last 25 years it is be through the support of Ministry of Power is providing funds to all the SDAs. Now it's the time for the SDAs to stand on their feet and deliver the energy conservation task. Thank you.
This is really interesting. I think I will have a question around it. I'll push you a bit, but maybe once I complete the round. Maybe having heard Abhishek ji, Neha, what happens generally, we do pilots. Pilots are funded. But pilot to programs at the state level, it's always a very big challenge. So, I'm trying to understand what type of support state requires to move these to program level interventions. If you can share some examples, throw some light around it.
I think that's a very good question that you asked, because we hear about a lot of pilots being conducted around different technologies, even though the technologies are very well demonstrated and established, with the hope of scaling up. But scaling up always remains a challenge. So I think having a good program design from the beginning and a vision of how that pilot will move towards scale up would be the first start. I mean, we often start with the amount of funding that we have, and we'll do this deployment and whatever comes out of it, and then we'll figure out the scale up in the second phase. But I think the vision has to be really big from the beginning. There has to be allocation of resources of all types, whether it's manpower, whether it's funding, from the beginning. Second is leadership. So as I described Odisha's example, where state has given about 100 crore rupees for appliance replacement program for air conditioners and fans. And it's one of the largest state-led program potentially. So there can be examples like that, where state sees the benefit from the analysis that has been conducted, and they kind of start directly with the large-scale implementation instead of going through pilots. Or there can be examples where we are demonstrating and proving some kind of business models, such as in Kerala's case, where state energy conservation funds have been utilized without needing additional money. So I think there is a lot of support needed on the technical side of things, where we are helping the states prove the business model, implementation and feasibility, so that the pilots just do not remain pilot and they are kind of moving and transitioning towards the scale-up model. And third is the overall financial tech, like I'll just summarize, it's the financial, technical and institutional feasibility and understanding of the subject, which helps transition a subject from pilot to a scale up, and also the overall institutional autonomy, which is something that we kind of started off the subject with. So, thank you.
Thanks, Neha. So maybe I will just also try to understand from the horse's mouth, Dr. Hari Kumar, that we were talking about pilot to programs. I mean, can you share a couple of examples where it actually have been done in Kerala? Because that will help our audience to understand that having a financial autonomy, how was it so important and how was it helpful for Kerala to move from pilots to programs?
See, I should also tell one thing, that when we talk about standalone SDA and autonomous organization, when we are given the autonomous status, we should also know how well to do the things properly in an autonomous way. So that exercise also we should understand. Because why I am telling is that on 2012, we got this Energy Conservation Fund first tranche from Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Till 2020, nothing happened in Kerala also. So 8 years, the fund remained as such. Then 2020 only we started thinking some out-of-box thing and then started doing that. So autonomy, so it all matters on the people who are leading and people who are supporting the thing also. That is also there. Now, see, I would say that whatever positive things we can take from Kerala. But if I a little bit retrospective, if I look at, see, I was heading the state nodal agency of MNRE, Renewable Energy Agency, during 2016-18, and 2006-8 I was the second in command in that nodal agency. On deputation I went. In Kerala, that state nodal agency had 120 people in as manpower, and all district had got one office. Now, when we talk about energy efficiency, I have only 25 people now. When I headed the state nodal agency, ANERT, my budget was 100 crore. Now, when I came to EMC for energy efficiency, my budget dropped by 1/10. I'm having only 10 crore. So still, the political leadership sees renewable energy as the main thing. Though we say that energy conservation efficiency has to go as a pilot before in front of the VIP vehicle, in front of the renewable energy vehicle, but still, because when the LED came, only the political leadership could see something on energy efficiency, because all other energy efficiency activities in the air compressor, chiller, everything is in the industry where political leadership is not going. So still there is a lot of effort we need to do, but to a certain extent we are successful, if I may say, to a certain extent, because still a lot of things we can do. From project to program we have to a certain extent we could do. We have got departments in interrelationship with different departments. For example, in one, I will talk about one example, Angan Jyoti, where now in most of the energy programs, we are talking about Anganwadis. So we introduced that Anganwadis into some 2-3 years back. Out of 33,000 Anganwadis, we could do in 3,000 Anganwadis electric cooking, which do not coincide with the off-peak time, which do not coincide with the on-peak demand time for KCB. But there are still 30,000 more to be done. And the government have given us the permission to utilize the CSR fund also now. So we have to understand how we can leverage the CSR funds for that also. So pilot to, and see, in houseboat, we have converted one houseboat from the hotel load of houseboat to low voltage DC architecture, energy efficient appliances, and powered it through solar. But we could not do for the rest 1,500. So still there are a lot of scope existing, as you talked about, from project to program. But one advantage what we could do for government departments, we are able to, because for PWD, for irrigation department, whenever they go and buy pump sets or something like that, they go for energy efficiency. And in all such discourses, debates, discussions, EMC is given a chair. And we get the opportunity to talk about energy efficiency in rebuilding Kerala initiative after the cyclone and things like that. So most of the such discussions, energy efficiency is now becoming slowly as a mainstream component.
This was fascinating, Harikumarji. I think one thing, Ashish, I wanted you to also mention, because you have, SE for All have global experience working with so many countries. There could be a couple of 2-3 examples where institutional governance and financing models exist, which we may not know, or we can at least emulate. So if you can share 1 or 2 examples outside India that at least everyone, for the benefit of the audience and panel, that prove that, okay, there could be a couple of examples that we should look into from the financing side.
Sure. Thank you, Sumit. So just before answering this, I would like to contribute to the ongoing discussion how we could lead from pilot to scale. I think one of the key learning from my end is, if we have some national programs, if we see whether like standard and labeling, PAT, right, or maybe Ujala, these were the national program, and street lighting national program, they actually includes the state and then implementation happen. This is one of the way. Second way, which I think currently is very important, is at the state level. So one at the national level, one at the state level, is basically to create some sort of a, you can say, financing facility. Because we need to understand clean energy, when we talked about renewable, in terms of IRR, in terms of long-term financing, for financiers, it makes sense. But when we talked about energy efficiency, the size of the ticket size, and when we talked about the interest rate, that always challenge. Now, if we accumulate, we already have, let's say, state energy conservation action plan, right? We have numbers. If we basically able under, let's say, hypothetically under Department of Energy, Ministry of Energy, at the state level, if we could create a model like which Tamil Nadu has done. So Tamil Nadu, earlier it used to be TEDA, SDA, and also a generation renewable company. They have formed a Tamil Nadu energy company. And how it happened is with the state budget of, let's say, 100 crore, and then 100 crore from the multilateral development bank at a low interest, private financing will flow and we'll have a ticket size of 1,000 crore. So this type of financing facility would really help at the state level to work upon. Now, coming to the international example, I'll share example of Germany. So KfW, one of the premier bank, how they started about, you can say 15 years back, is basically they have launched a green bank program with the states, which was about 3.5, I think, billion euro. Yeah, billion euro. And how it worked is basically across energy efficiency verticals, whether it is buildings, industry, they worked with state financial institutions. So we have one KfW and then state financial institution, and they work very closely to basically mitigate the key risk, which is the financial risk. So KfW basically bring the expertise of like technical due diligence, tools, what could be the technologies. They were majorly the center of excellence. And at the state level, they have the banks where basically it has a blended finance, and it also has, you can say, the state level of capacity, which can directly connect to either MSMEs or large industries to basically finance the loan, right? So this is one example. The second example I just highlighted in my earlier intervention was the PACE program. More than 500 municipalities in US are basically working under this program. And it's simple. You just need municipality through the property tax. You can just pay in addition. For example, if your property tax is X and you have to pay, you can pay X plus delta for the retrofit upgrade, right? And ultimately, because the value of the property is so high, right? It's not on the owner person, but it's on basically the property. So it always leads to stability, you can say a lot of documentation, and things automatically happen with the partnership. So similar sort of thing we could see where we could work with municipalities, bring large finance in India, and this could really replicate where property taxes are collected. Now, one of more example, again, I've highlighted it was the Super ESCO one, right? So let me give you the Tarshid example, right? So under Royal Decree, it was passed in 2014-15 that this is an institution. They will basically go for a plan, 2030 plan, that they want to retrofit 30,000 buildings, right? It is clear. Now they're working at the state level to get insight into what is the technical intervention need to be done. Now financial money is available, we'll do and retrofit. At ESL, we used to work and share our street lighting national program, and with that, Rashid has done ESL support system was there. They were basically doing the mass scale national street lighting retrofit in Saudi Arabia. So these are like examples we could, and we already have a lot of examples in India with ESL doing, BE doing. I think it is just about to plan and know wherever, for example, states like Kerala and Andhra Pradesh are leading, how to basically handhold and give them the next version of scaling this up. And those who are basically little behind to support them and still start using the State Energy Conservation Fund to replicate and multiply from pilot to scale.
No, thanks, Ashish. I think one point you mentioned is about capacity, financing capacities, which needs to be built. And maybe I will try to change the track to institutional capacity. And that is where I wanted Abhishek ji to talk about one point which I was having in my mind. So Abhishek ji, what happens when we talk about this Central Energy Conservation Fund? So generally what happens, SDAs, they have a mandate to look into the programs, but fund management is not their core expertise. I mean, you also have lived in trenches. We all have lived in energy efficiency trenches, I should say like that. Private sector investment and capital mobilization, private sector engagement and capital mobilization is necessary. I mean, unless or until they don't get attracted, it becomes really challenging. So I'm just trying to understand from institutional capacity angle that when we talk about any fund, whether it is Central Energy Conservation Fund or a state energy fund management, shouldn't that capacity be built, or shouldn't that capacity be provided to the state designated agencies, or from the central level this should be directed? I mean, what is your view on that, and anything on the institutional capacity side you're working on?
B has provided manpower support to the SDAs right from the beginning of this scheme since the 11th plan. And recently we have also tried to provide some financial experts to the SDAs to carry out these tasks. But what is happening right now, again the question arises, their focus is not on the energy efficiency. They utilize those manpowers for some other tasks, and they are more preferring these renewable activities. So what we hope that slowly and as per the mandate from the ministry, we are curtailing the manpower right now. And we want again to stand there on them to stand there on foot. And so what we are doing right now, we request SDAs to create some mechanism within their organization structure, and from this financial autonomy, create some financial autonomy, and so that they can sponsor these manpower. And B has also one scheme that is Energy Conservation Fund, State Energy Conservation Fund, in which states are also a partner. This is basically a central sponsor scheme. Not we usually have central sponsor scheme. This is central sponsor scheme in which we provide some funds and a matching contribution is provided by the states, and again a top-up is provided by the BEE. So the purpose of that scheme is also that they make their decisions by themselves. So what we did, and even what ministry did, we tried to create a state level steering committee under the chairmanship of the chief secretaries of the states. So far, we have got good result in the last 2 years. 31 of our SDAs out of 36 have created a state level steering committee. Around 16 of them are conducting regular meetings. Regular in the sense, once in a quarter they are doing, and they are trying to utilize that State Energy Conservation Fund. What Hari Kumar ji was telling, it was remained idle with them for last 8 years. So we try to figure out that how they can utilize that fund effectively for the energy conservation activities and become independent in their approach. Because ultimately government will not provide the funds for so long. A day will come when they have to look at their finances, their manpower support by themselves. And so we expect these states, and we, in this pursuit, we share the best practices, what we get from good states to all the states, so that they can learn, and we can, if they engage manpower by themselves, what we can then do, they will enhance the capacities of those manpower by providing them some national exposures in collaboration with our agencies that are empaneled with BEE, like GIZ, AEEE, and all those, so that they can learn more good examples from other states. Ultimately, they have to do it by themselves. Thank you.
That makes sense. I think more of institutional capacities by giving some best examples, and also that is something which is really needed. Maybe I'll just try to, in the paucity of time, I'll talk about leadership, and I wanted to understand, Harikumar ji, what kind of leadership did you follow? Because you have been one of the excellent, trendsetters among the states. And why I'm asking, there is a second part to it, is what institutional design feature you felt like mandate or staffing structure made a biggest difference in implementation outcome. So there are two parts to it. One is the leadership part, what kind of thing you follow, and what change you made that has resulted in big implementation outcome. If you can just throw some light on that.
See, personally, if you ask me, I was introduced in this field of energy efficiency in 1990 through my BTech project work. So it is my passion. For last 36 years, I am in the energy field only, and every day my passion increases only. See, we have selected people to EMC. We got that autonomy. As I indicated, we know how to exercise the autonomy. So we selected people in that particular way. And we trained them. Our core infrastructure we consider is the human resources. So we strengthen them, we train them, we send them to most of the conferences to speak, to listen. So, and we see it is a energy efficiency, I would say it is a very governance heavy. And because we have to talk with different departments and things like, so we want people to be trained, people to be made capable. And we got good support from the central as well as the state. That is the main thing. And all of our engineers are certified energy auditors or managers. They have passed the exam. And our motto when we started is that we will be a very lean organization, but we are provided the opportunity to network with individuals and institutions. So that is why we have signed MOU with SC for All, we have signed MOU with the AEEE, CLASP. So all these people we have signed MOU. We are inviting you all people to come to Kerala. Let us create a very conducive environment and ecosystem for energy efficiency improvement. So that is the positive note I want to tell when we talk about leadership and staffing. Yes, very lean organization, but networking with different agencies and individuals. That is what we have done. But still, we feel that the state government, as Abhishek ji was mentioning, the state energy efficiency index is now is providing a healthy competition for SDAs also to move up in the ladder. And that also that's the motivation to go to our state, to go to our planning board and ask for more funds, more support. And so that way it is a positive thing only. I would stop here. No.
Thank you so much. So maybe I will quickly ask Ashish with a brief question that is more on doubling energy efficiency. So on doubling part, there is a huge attention towards it. What kind of leadership and institutional capacities you feel do we need? Enlarged institutions or the similar institution can actually yield the results. I wanted some reflections from you and Neha, but be very quick on that, please.
Sure, it's a very important question, I think, because we want to reach to 89.1 MTOE by 2030. And currently in the last B impact assessment report, it was about 55 MTOE. That was a saving we are getting. Now in next 4-5 years, it is very important what could be those programs, how those programs could be. And what we have seen till now is the programs like PAT, Standard and Labeling, Ujala are the prominent, you can say, champions to meet that 55 MTOE. Now we need new programs, and that's why the role, and we need a state level implementation. That's why the role of, you can say, state entities are going to be important. I would like to bring emphasis on the State Energy Efficiency Index and one tracking mechanism which European Union is doing. So European Union is having a tracking mechanism doubling energy efficiency, which is called Udesi Muri. So they are basically working with states, with the countries to get the data and basically see if we want to achieve to this level, what could be those intervention and where we are. So we know for example, if you are playing cricket and you know your required run rate, you can easily reach. Otherwise, you need power hitting in the last, right? So I think that's why it is very important with the state energy efficiency index and how at national level our targets are to work with state to identify intervention and then closely monitoring it so that we don't need in the last 1 or 2 year to really accelerate our run rate. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, I understand. You're right that more of modeling capabilities, more of knowing how to move it forward right from the start will be really helpful. Neha, your reflections, please.
Yeah, I'll be really quick. In addition to what Ashish said, I think one of the key levers would be integrating procurement and market transformation approaches in energy efficiency at the subnational level. Second is enabling consumer adoption of these energy efficiency approaches. And third is translation of national programs and its implementation at the subnational level through all the mechanisms that we've spoken about. I think those are some of the ways through which we can work towards enabling and meeting the goal of doubling energy efficiency at the subnational level.
This is also very important. You rightly pointed out. And it was actually very heartening to have this kind of a conversation. So many things, so many aspects we were able to cover. Maybe I'll just try to take 2-3 questions from audience if there are. So please introduce yourself. Keep your question very brief. Point who is it directed to? Yes, please.
My name is Parvez Ahmed. I am from Indian Plastics Institute. Now, I would really like to see water use efficiency, plastic use efficiency added to this. We have to get institutions like AWWA, that is American Water Works Association, people from Ministry of Jal Shakti, then construction and demolition waste also has to be addressed. Municipal solid waste also has to be addressed. Today we got plastics from, hydrogen from waste plastics also. Now, what are we trying to do over here? Please address this wholesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So this was a comment. Yeah. If any other questions we have. Yeah, please.
So my question is for Mr. Abhishek Sharma.
Could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Naina Gautam. I'm the editor of Sustainability Karma. And my question is, there is focus on model energy efficient village campaign, which is implemented through SDAs in villages. So we are moving from the lower levels and then of course to the higher levels. So what are the challenges and what is the progress so far on that front?
So in one of the SDA component in which we provide the funds to SDA, it is the creation of modern energy efficient villages. We have got good response and we provided the fund to SDA only for carrying the activities for the common areas, not for the individual household. In village, we have panchayat offices, the rural hospitals, the schools, and the common area, the library, and that assembly halls, Barat Ghar type of places there are. And we provide these funds to those activities. Some states over and above BE interventions have provided the funds to the individual household in terms of providing the energy efficient lighting. I think in one of the villages in Goa, through ESL support, they have provided the funds to even to the households, but these are mostly state sponsored. Our intervention is to create at least one village in one state that we can call it as a model village. Now some states are also going above it and are trying to make some establishment in their respective villages as net zero. They try to club the solar part or wind part with these energy efficient interventions.
So as far we have been discussing, SDA is really complicated and quite not at its best. So what were the challenges that were faced in implementing this?
First is the identification of villages.
What
This
is the criteria
foremost.
for that?
Criteria is that um, everyone wants his village or village in the constituency of respective MLAs to be an energy efficient village. But in this way, the role of the SDA is, because we only provides the fund to the SDA, but it is the SDA role is important there. They have to choose the best places, because we don't have so much funds available with BEE to make all the villages in a state. Some are rural heavy states we have, like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. We cannot provide funds to all the villages. The role of SDA is very important there. They have to identify, and just not to identify, they have to do some groundwork before identifying the village, whether it is feasible, what are the past practices, and based on that they locate some village and seek the fund from BEE. They provide, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of every financial year, they provide us the annual action plan. In this, they demand the funds from BEE, and we see their capabilities, the past experience of the SDA in doing such projects. Due diligence is being done. And not only members from Niti Aayog, Finance Department are a part of this committee. This is steering cum monitoring committee, and at the end, this committee provides the funds to SDA. We recommend the funds to these SDAs, and the final call is taken by the Ministry and the Director General of Bureau of Energy Efficiency.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Any last question?
One more thing. I forgot to mention compute efficiency as a service, IoT, quantum also. These also must be looked at. And yes, the water consumption here is huge. And India is really suffering from overexploitation of groundwater. Maybe a good international example could be, the computing, I'll say data use efficiency also.
Sure. So I think there was one question. Please, if you can be very brief, very quick, so that we can conclude quickly.
Hi, my name is Alek. Again, I'm a student from Lucknow. So my question to Neha, like for example, we are talking of appliances, of energy efficient appliances. I'll take a different viewpoint from a consumer point of view. When you go for any energy efficient appliances, the cost does matter. Is there any scheme, and the question for the whole panel, is there a scheme or subsidies or anything that a 3-star rating AC and a 5-star rating, so both come at a par or something, so that as a consumer, I am pulled more toward an energy efficient appliances?
I'll start, and maybe you can also add, because Sir leads standards and labeling program. So there are some schemes and programs that have been instituted by utilities. There is ESL sitting right in front of us, who have kind of brought down the prices of 5-star appliances, air conditioners, fans by 30% than the prevailing market prices. So there are a lot of instruments, but we also need to take into account not just the upfront price, but also the operational cost. So if we buy 5-star air conditioner or fan or any other appliance, the overall over the life of the product, you are going to save much more money than you're going to kind of invest in the beginning in the upfront purchase.
And moreover, under DSM plan, some of the discoms in the country are also supporting this energy efficient appliance activities. You might have heard that in Delhi, BSES and TPDL are providing this energy efficient appliance ACs, and I think some few more appliances to the consumers. And some other states have also taken this activity. I think Odisha is also planning to do it under DSM interventions.
Is there anything in pipeline like we have done with automobile, that we are phasing away with BS4 and thing? So is there any pipeline that we've put the producers, the manufacturers to phase away with less energy efficient appliances?
No, we do not direct them as such. What we do, we ratchet up our program, and as soon as the more efficient comes in the market, the 1-star goes out of the market. So this is the way we do it. whenever we ratchet up our program, the energy efficiency star labels, the lower star values are omitted, and manufacturer do not manufacture those products. They are not supposed to manufacture. It is a court. These are mandatory regulation. They have to follow it.
Great. So I think it's time to conclude the session, and thank you so much. I have 3 takeaways which I am from this particular session. First is like market mechanisms is very important, and with this transition era, the institutional capacity needs to be taken care. Second, I felt that all the panel members echoed that revitalization of State Energy Conservation Fund is needed, and a central energy conservation fund is a welcome step, sir. I really appreciate that something like this is happening. Third piece, which I also felt was resonating, was that let us recruit people who have career focused on energy efficiency and also give them a career track so that they understand where they are going and how they are building up. So for all these 3 things, financial and operational autonomy of SDAs are really important. It was really a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much for highlighting the critical role of subnational leadership in driving sustainable, scalable energy savings. Before we leave the stage, let's have a picture. Followed by this picture, I'll request Mr. Rohan, my colleague, to come on the dais for the next session.
Neha, just a minute. Let me.